Hi, thanks for joining me today. I'm Gina. This video is going to focus on some work for our muscles in our calves. Our calves can be pretty tight. It's not something that we think a lot about, but if someone has told you consistently, maybe your instructor, if you are an equestrian, to get your heels down, tight calves can affect your ability to do that. That being said, you do not want to ride with your heels jammed down as far as you can go. That's your end range of motion, and then you lose the mobility in the ankle. So along with this work on the calves, we're going to be moving the ankle a little bit today too. So we are going to use some props today. Have something to set up on a folded up blanket or a firm cushion. You can also fold up a couple of saddle pads if you are an equestrian. You can sit on something like that. Have either a pool noodle. This is a half a pool noodle that I cut in half, you know, the long ones that you use in the pool, or a water bottle. We're going to use this to kind of massage the calf a little bit. So either or, you don't have to have both, and then either a couple of yoga blocks or a small stool or chair to support you. So we're going to start in a cross-legged seated position. Just lift your sit bones up onto that blanket to find your neutral spine. Find the alignment in the base of your pelvis. Think of aligning your head over your shoulders over your hips. Let your hands rest on the thighs, and just for a few moments, close your eyes. Turn your focus inward. We always like to start a bit of our yoga practice with some centering and grounding. So begin to focus on your breath and breathing. And see if you can just let your mind quiet. And let this time on your mat today be for you and about you. I'm thinking of taking nice deep breaths in, breathing in through the nose. Let the breath drop all the way down into the bottom of the lungs. And then take a nice, long, slow exhale out. Back out through the nose. You can occasionally breathe out through the mouth if you like, but mostly breathing in and out of the nose. And again, just think full breaths in and long breaths out. And then very gently let the eyes open. So we're going to start with a little warm up for the calf muscles. I'm going to turn sideways just so that you can see these little exercises a little bit easier. So start in Dandasana with your legs extended out. Have your pool noodle or your water bottle where you can easily reach them. But extend the legs out long. Sit up on your blanket still so you can keep that neutral position for the spine. Then bring the feet a little bit wider. And then from the hips, we're just going to do a little rotation here. So we're getting a little movement across the back of the calf and just warming up the whole leg, because we are going to be using more muscles than just the calf muscles today. But just a little bit of movement side to side. You can do opposite directions. You can do the same direction, whatever feels good for you. But think of that movement coming from your hip. And then come back to center. Bring the feet back more hip distance apart. Let the knees bend just a little bit. Think of drawing the heels back towards you. And then just think of letting the knees bounce a little bit. So with the hand, you can almost imagine that you're dribbling a ball, a basketball. So just kind of give that little bounce, and you should feel the calf and the back of the thigh muscle making contact with the mat. Again, just kind of warming up the back of the legs a little bit. And again, just come back to center. Now bend just the right leg. We'll start with the right leg. Take your thumbs, bring your thumbs together, and then take the thumbs and just kind of massage up and down the back of that calf muscle. So we're just kind of going up and down. It's like creating a little friction there. So go up and down either the center and then around to the outside and the inside. Again, just get a little warmth and heat going there. Do that on the right side. And then switch sides and same thing. And notice if there's any difference in sensation side to side. You know, we have a dominant leg, so that might mean a stronger, tighter calf muscle on one side than the other. So again, just that little friction, the back of the leg. And again, a little to the inside and to the outside, that fatty part of the calf muscle. And then come back to center. Now take your pool noodle. I'm going to start on the right side. And again, you can use the pool noodle or you can use your water bottle, either way. But we're going to be rolling up and down the calf muscle. So what you'll do is just kind of move it around a little bit and then do a little shift forward and back. Avoid the tendons right behind the knee and avoid going all the way down to the Achilles tendon right below the calf above the ankle. But just give a little massage. You can rotate the leg a little to the outside, a little to the inside. And again, notice any tender spots. And then once you feel like you've covered that entire surface, just set that aside. I'm going to do the water bottle on the other side so you can see the difference. And again, same thing, just kind of rolling that a little forward and back. You could technically use a tennis ball for this, but tennis balls try to escape, you know, they kind of roll off. So having this is a little bit easier. You can also make this a little bit more intense by literally lifting yourself up and doing a little bit more roll here. So now there's a little bit more pressure on the calf muscle there. So again, just different ways that you can get that movement going, get that blood flowing to that calf muscle. Good. And then just move those props out of the way. Extend your legs again back out. Find that nice length in your spine once again. And then just point the toes and flex the feet. So point and flex. So that gets, again, some movement in that calf muscle. So again, little point and flex. You can circle the ankles here. Circle one direction a couple times, the other direction. Make sure you're still breathing and that you're still focusing on yourself and not thinking about other things. And then come back to center and then just bring the legs in. Slide your blanket off to the side for the moment. We're going to use that a little bit later. And let's come to all fours, come to table pose. So as you settle into table pose, bring your wrist underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. Think of drawing the lowest ribs towards the hips to find that core connection. Now slide your right leg back, press to the heel. So feel that nice stretch up the back of the right leg through that calf. And of course, we'll add the Achilles tendon and the hamstrings to this movement. And then just roll a little forward and back across the toes, getting that action. Again, the muscles in the back of the leg, including that calf. Just inhale and exhale. And now press back through that right heel. Pick the right leg up, bring it over off the left side of your mat, press through the heel again, turn and look over that left shoulder, look for that right foot back there again. Nice stretch for the back of the leg, including that calf. Inhale and exhale. Really breathe and expand through the side of the body here. And then let the upper body come back to alignment. Bring that right leg back in. Release the right knee down. Extend the left leg back. Same thing. Press through the heel. Feel that nice stretch through the back of the left leg. And then make that a little bit more intense by finding that little roll forward and back across the toes of that left foot. Keep breathing. Full breaths in, long breaths out. And again, press back through the left heel. Bring that left leg up and over off the right side of the mat. Turn and look over that right shoulder. Maybe or maybe not looking at that right foot back there. Inhale and exhale. Again, press through the heel. Feel that nice stretch. And then let the upper body come back to alignment. Bring that left leg back in. Release the left knee down. Now bring your hands a little bit in front of your shoulders. Press into the fingertips and the base of the knuckles. Arms nice and straight. Curl the toes under. Lift your knees. Send your sit bones up and back. Come to a bent knee, downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Now keep your left knee bent, straighten the right leg, press down through the right heel. Feel that nice stretch again up the back of the calf, maybe a little bit more intense than we had from all fours. Bend your right knee. Now straighten the left leg, press through the left heel. Inhale and exhale. Bend the left knee once again, straighten the right leg. Big breath in, long breath out. Bend the right knee, straighten the left leg. Big breath in, long breath out. Now, if it feels okay for both legs to be straight, you can straighten both legs. If you prefer, you can just keep doing that, switching back and forth very gently and slowly. Otherwise, both legs straight. And then inhale, lift the heels way up, coming way up onto your toes. Exhale, lower the heels back down towards the mat. Not important that they touch, but just feel that nice stretch up the back of the legs. Inhale, lift up onto the toes. Exhale, lower the heels down. Feel that stretch. Think of lifting the kneecaps, engaging the muscles in the fronts of the legs. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, release down. Now bend your knees, bring your hands down to the mat, uncurl the toes, come back to a child pose. Take a couple breaths here. Inhale and exhale. You can use one of those yoga blocks or your hands stacked on top of each other if you need a little support for the head. Inhale and exhale. And then press into the hands, come up to your table pose. So grab those yoga blocks or your stool or chair. Have those blocks right to the outside edge of your mat. If you have the stool or chair, have it out in front. From your table pose, step the right leg forward to a lunge, right heel underneath the knee. Bring your blocks on either side of this right foot directly underneath your shoulders. So the right block is going to be very close to the right foot. That left block will be directly underneath the left shoulder. Curl the back toes under, lift your back knee, press back through the left heel. So again, we're getting that nice stretch through the back of the leg. If you have your stool or chair, hands are on that stool or chair that's in front of you. And you can do that little roll forward and back across the toes. You can bring these blocks up as high as you need, whatever feels best for your body. Inhale and exhale. And then once again, press back through that heel, lengthen through the spine. Think of drawing the shoulder blades onto the back of the body. Inhale and exhale. Release the knee down. Keep the toes curled under. Again, still getting that little bit of stretch. Inhale and exhale. Now move your blocks out of the way, hands to the mat. Step your right leg back, beside your left. Come back to that table pose. Exhale, round to a cat pose. Inhale, tilt the pelvis forward, find your cow pose, feel that length through the front of the body. Exhale, back to neutral. Now step your left leg forward. So again, coming into that lunge, left heel under the knee. Find your blocks directly under your shoulders. Widen the collarbones, curl the right toes under, lift the right knee, press through the heel. Lengthen through the spine, find your breath. And again, that little movement forward and back. Inhale and exhale. Getting that stretch of the back of the leg, little movement for the ankle there too. Good. Pressing back through that right heel once again. Think of lifting the right knee up towards the ceiling. Lengthen through the spine. And then release the right knee down. Keep the toes curled under again for another breath. Inhale and exhale. And then bring the blocks again out of the way, hands to the mat. Step that left leg back beside the right. Exhale, round cat pose. Inhale into cow pose. Find that nice length through the front of the body. Exhale, back to neutral. So one more little sequence here from the ground. So we're going to use our blanket or cushion or whatever you have, folded up towel, your folded up saddle pads, have those at the back of your mat. Come to table pose and slide the ball of your foot right underneath your blanket or cushion, whatever you have. Bring your hands in front of your shoulders. Now curl your toes under, so your toes are going to be, your feet are going to be right in front of the blanket now. Lift your knees, send your sit bones up and back to downward facing dog. Press your heels into the blanket. Draw the arms away from the shoulder sockets. Inhale and exhale. Press down through those feet. If you've never had your heels on the ground in downward facing dog, I've been practicing yoga for many, 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 many years. I will never have my heels on the ground just because of the way my body is built, the way my ankles are built. So this gives you a great opportunity to feel that nice stretch down the backs of the legs. Take another breath here. Inhale and exhale, and then pedal your feet. Begin to walk your feet towards your hands. So bend your knees as much as you need to. Come up to a standing forward bend. Take tiny little steps. Let the knees bend. Take hold of opposite elbows. Take a nice breath here. Inhale and exhale, and then bring the hands to the hinge of the hip. Press into the feet. Lengthen through the spine. Come all the way up to stand. Once you come up to stand, find your mountain pose once again. So feet hip distance apart. So now we're finding our mountain pose from the ground rather than just from our seated shape, finding that length in the spine. So lift the toes, spread the toes, place the toes down. Think of lifting the inner arch of the foot and see if you can engage all the muscles in the legs. So feel that action that we created when we were rolling back and forth across the toes and we were pressing through the heel. Can you feel that action in the legs, in the calf muscles? Inhale and exhale. Good. So once again, let's use our blocks or stool or chair if you have it. So have your blocks close by. Inhale, float the arms all the way up. Bring the palms together. As you exhale, bend the knees, fold all the way down, standing forward bend. Inhale, halfway up, nice flat back. Take your blocks, rest your hands on your blocks. You can do this at whatever height that you'd like. You can make the blocks a little taller. Everybody's a different height here, so whatever works for you. Again, if you have that stool or chair, your hands are on that stool or chair. So bend your left knee, straighten through the right leg. Take the right arm, float the right arm up, take a little twist, reaching the right fingertips up as you look to the right. And then float the right arm back down, bend the right knee. Now straighten your left leg, float the left arm all the way up into your twist. And then float that left arm again back down, bend the left knee. So we'll do that a couple times. So float the right arm up, the right leg straightens, so you're stretching through that calf, left knee bent. Exhale, lower that leg arm back down, bend the knee. And then switch again to the left. Left leg straightens, left arm floats up, twisting to your left. As you lower down, let the left knee bend, bring both hands back to the blocks. Press into the feet, hands to the hips, lengthen all the way up through the spine, come back to stand. Find your mountain pose. Inhale and exhale. Good. So one last little sequence here. This time we're going to use our blanket or cushion again. This time it's going to be at the front of your mat. We're going to start with just one leg. So from your mountain pose, step one leg forward, place the ball of your foot on that, whatever you have, blanket, cushion, folded up saddle pads, towel, whatever it is. Feel that stretch through the back of the leg. If you're not feeling much sensation, you can make that a little bit higher to get a little bit more stretch. And again, everybody's individual, different, so you do what feels appropriate for you, but feeling that nice stretch up the back of the leg. Inhale and exhale. And sometimes our ability to do this is not so much tightness in the back of the leg. Sometimes it can be our bone structure across the top of front of the foot. So again, I'll never get my heels down in downward facing dog, and my heels will never be really far down in the saddle either, in my stirrups, because of my bone structure in the front of my foot. So couple breaths, inhale and exhale, and then switching sides. So bring that foot back, take a moment to just feel how that feels, and then take the left leg forward. And again, you may want to start, if you folded it up and made it a little higher, maybe start lower, because again, one leg might be different than the other. Inhale and exhale. And then again, if you'd like a little bit more sensation, you can roll that up a little higher. Inhale and exhale. Good, make sure you're breathing. Think of the shoulders drawing down the back, lengthen through the spine. Full breaths in, long breaths out. And then gently, as you're ready, let that release. Now, option, you can place both feet up if you can keep your balance. Again, if you lifted it a little higher, you may need to go a little lower for this. But again, if you feel steady, you can do both at the time. If you have something to hang on to, like I have my little deck railing here, you can also do that. If you feel like this, you want to do the stretch, but you feel a little unbalanced, you can give yourself a little support by holding on to something. Good. Find that full breath in and out. And then as you're ready, come back to your mountain pose. So just stepping off of whatever you were using. Come back to that mountain pose. Let the arms release by your side. Close the eyes for a moment. Come back to that breath. Inhaling and exhaling, but just awareness to how the legs feel. Again, we were focusing on the calf, but we got a little work from the hamstrings in there and the hips. So just see how the legs feel. And then as you're ready, gently let the eyes open. So thank you for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed that little session, and I hope that helps you a little bit with ankle mobility and a little release for the calves. But again, for those of you who are equestrians, of course, this is an excellent video for anybody. It doesn't matter if you're a rider or not, especially if you wear any type of a heel, your calves are going to be tight. So this is great for everybody. But for those of you who ride, resist the temptation to really jam that heel down as far as you can go in the stirrup, because you do want to find that we need that ability of that ankle to absorb the motion. So if it's locked all the way down, it's not going to be able to do that. So make sure you're not jamming your foot too far down in the saddle, but hopefully this will help you feel that nice stretch and get a little bit more release in the backs of the legs. Thanks so much again for joining me. Please check out Grey Horse Yoga in the info section below. I teach an online Zoom class every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Would love to see you there. Again, it's on Zoom. It's always recorded. If you can't attend live, you get a recording. And I hope to see you sometime soon in the saddle or on the mat. Thanks. Bye-bye.